But speak thou the things which become it sound doctrine, that the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior, as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, but teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. Welcome back to Chase Conversations.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy.
Okay. Sabbath day. And if we look in our Strong's Concordance, so you look up the word Sabbath or Shabbat, that is H7676. It's to rest or an intermission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's also a H7673, which is to cease or be
Mm-hmm.
still.
Uh,
Okay. That is what Shabbat means. That's what it means, to rest. Okay. Um, so can anybody tell us who was the Sabbath given to? Who was it given to? Where can you find it?
It was given to Moses through the Ten Commandments
For whom?
for the people of Israel.
And so we can find that in, if you want to bring out Deborah, Exodus 31 and 13.
Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Most High, that doth sanctify you.
And so when is Sabbath?
the seventh day. And we would have to, based on, either if we already know, like maybe we have information of what day that is, but we would have to just go off of the calendar or the counting system that we're currently on to kind of just start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Genesis 2 and 3.
Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his works, which Elohim created and made.
Exactly. So we're talking about the weekly Sabbath in this conversation tonight. The Most High blessed the seventh day of the week. The seventh day of the week. A lot of us do the seventh day, meaning Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, or all
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, right? Some people do
Mm-hmm.
all just Saturday sun up to sundown, but it's a Saturday because it's the last day of the week. I mean, if you look on the calendar that Esau has for us, the Gregorian calendar, is that the weekly calendar, the monthly calendar? Sunday is started off as the first day of the week on most calendars, right? So you could go like that. And then for a lot of our brothers and sisters, I believe, don't quote me 100% on this, but if you go dependent on the lunar cycle to count your months, right? If they're really convicted in their mind, and so they follow it that way, which is not incorrect, because we know Most High will come back and set all things in order. His son will. And again, we're going to jump into that a little bit later, but you might go based off of that. So your Sabbath might be, a Tuesday this month or Wednesday next month, something like that. But they're following 7 days, 7 days,
Right.
7 days.
Right.
Okay. So as long as we know that we can't just be like, you know what, I didn't get to do it on the 7th day, I'm gonna do it in the middle of the week. No,
Right.
okay,
Right. It's not preferential.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Praises. So that's an easy one. So yes, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. It says the 7th day he sanctified it, and he rested from all of his work. Rested. There go that word again. H7676. It's an intermission. It was to cease, to be still. Like how you work all week and you waiting for a day to be off. Wait no longer, because the Most High appointed you one. Okay. If we're able on our plantation to take that day, okay, we put your feet up. You've been waiting all week to take them tight shoes off. Put your feet up and don't do a thing. That's the one day ain't nobody gonna be crying. You could be like, no, it gonna stay there until okay, that's your one day to do that. Yeah. I mean, when is it? What is it? Same, it's like, what is it? What is a Sabbath? Somebody ask you on the streets, like, what is a Sabbath day? What would you say?
Stop working. Just stop doing labor. Stop supporting or benefiting from something of the earth or something of the flesh. So I was trying to look for it. I'm still gonna look for it, but it's in Psalm 119. It mentions it a few different times, but I was gonna look for one specifically. Basically, to me, Shabbat is meditation. So
No, it's
Okay,
also
to be still.
so you jumping into more of a question I was going to ask later on what do
Okay.
you do on the Sabbath day. So right now we just want that basic milk on what is a Sabbath. Like let's just break it down to what to the ones who've never heard of a Sabbath, just coming into the truth, or even to what is a Sabbath. And so you
Right.
guys
So
said,
I'll move it to where when I think of it to just being still, when you're sitting down and you're just thinking about different things, sometimes that can just kind of say, just stop. You know what I mean? Stop doing whatever it is you're doing and then just relax.
right.
Look around you, do all the five senses, but don't make it a chore.
So you answering all my other questions, sis. And I guess it's maybe how I asked the question, but you're jumping into answering all my other questions. But Khan sis, keep that thought for my next question. But Sister Sheila, may I see you?
So, of course, to keep it basic, we know that in Exodus 20, most of us anyway, verse 8, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So that's maybe another deeper conversation is breaking down the word holy, because it is under the Ten Commandments that were first brought to Israel beginning, right? In Exodus 20, but of course, it can go real deep, real deep. For me, the Sabbath is, oh, I can now breathe. I could take the time to slow down. There is no work to be done.
Right.
My mind can become clearer, peaceful.
Okay.
I can rest.
Okay.
Ooh, I
Exactly.
love the Sabbath.
You know,
Spiritually,
and we don't take
emotionally.
we don't take the advantage of the Sabbath day. Like it be just that's why it come and go so fast, because we don't really be soaking it. I see you, Sister Joy. You got it.
I was just going to go back to scripture and quote Mark 2:27, where the Lord said that the Sabbath was made made for us, you know, and just to give it verbatim, it says, and he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Just letting us know that, this is the day that is for you. You do what you need to do to have that rest. you know, that whatever you think is good for you to rest on that day,
Okay. I like that.
to be at peace on that day.
I like that. I like that. Deborah, if you could
Yes.
bring out Exodus 31, verse 16 to 17.
Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
Refreshed, just like Shalome said, it's a time for her to be relaxed and refreshed, you know.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, what is the Sabbath? Okay, it's a sign between the Most High and his children. Just like, this is a different topic, but just like that sign he put in the sky.
Mm.
What is the
That
rainbow?
rainbow.
How do you explain what a rainbow is? It's a sign between the Most High and the children that there won't be a flood. The Sabbath is a sign between the Most High and his children, right? To keep this day and observe it forever. That's what generations is. For a perpetual covenant. And I say that word 3 times because we're going to return to that word a little bit later on. Okay. It's a sign between them forever that 6 days he made heaven and earth, everything in between. And then he rested. He take off them boots and he, okay, unstring them boots, hang them up, and just like you said, Joy, what brings you peace? What's refreshing you that day? Which you ain't got to worry about. Which you know,
No, I
okay,
do it.
relax. Relax. What is the Sabbath day a time for you to do?
So Psalms 119, verse 15, it says, I will meditate in your precepts and have respect unto your ways. I'll
Okay.
extend it to 16 and say, I will delight
Mhm.
myself in your statutes. I will not forget your word.
Kind. And that word will coming up a lot today too. Meditate. What does
Mhm.
meditating look like? It's a time to meditate. It's a time to reflect. Let's look at what meditate is. I think H77878 to
Mhm.
commune.
Mhm.
Commune. And that's a good word there too. To pray, to speak to declare. You're declaring
Mhm.
again that this is the day you're going to hold sacred because that's what your father said, right? You're declaring this is your day of rest. You're acknowledging it. When you
Shaya.
declare something, you're letting people know this is what you follow. This is your culture. This is your history. This is,
Mhm.
um, praying, praying. These are all these are all words for meditate. So yeah, that's what we do on the Sabbath. That was perfect, sis, because I didn't have an actual precept for that because there's quite a few. It's a lot of people just reflect on their spiritual journey that week, where they did well at, where they could do better in, where you maybe slipped a little bit and you need to correct yourself. It's time for you to reflect on your spiritual, you know.
Mhm.
Um, what are some of the other things that you do on the Sabbath day? Um, this is what we do on this day. We spend time with our family, right? You spend
Right.
time with your family, you gather, we call it gathering.
Yep.
Okay. You devote your time to the Father. That's a good precept that you brought out earlier in Psalms 119, says, devote your time to the Father, honor him with prayer and supplications. What about
Right.
charity?
You can.
Love
What
it.
about charity?
You can.
Okay.
Yes. Love.
Yeah, you know, um,
Fills my heart.
spreading the gospel. Because it says you can do,
Minister. Right.
yeah, because you're doing good on the Sabbath. That's what Hamashiach did.
Time.
Right.
Okay. Um,
What's that one
So
they like to talk about? Acts, was it Acts 24 and 2, I think, or Acts 2 and 42, one of them.
as far as doing good,
Right, it's like sending disciples out.
I think that wasn't it. That wasn't in that in Matthew 12.
Let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see. It could be in Matthew 12. Um, I know
Okay.
sometimes
So
people bring up different ones, but yeah, we can go to Matthew. You said 2
yeah,
and 12?
let's go to Matthew 12. And if you want to read verse 8
Matthew 12.
and then drop down to 11 to 13.
Matador.
Just for
Matthew
this.
chapter 12,
Mhm.
verse 8. You
Hmm.
said 8 verse, right? 8.
Yes.
For the Son of Man is Adonai, even of the Shabbat day. Verse 11. And he said to them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Shabbat day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? Verse 12. How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Shabbat days, to
You see
do
that?
well. Mm-hmm.
You see that? Now, we're not saying we're gonna go out there and just start buying a whole bunch of stuff and say we doing good
Oh
because I
no.
gotta put food in my fridge. No, like, come on. Okay. Yeah, old lady, she's driving her car. Okay. And then you see her broke down on the street. Her wheel broke off. Okay. Are you not gonna help her out of the road? You're not gonna help her push the car out the road. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Like doing good. You see a brother or a sister, they pass out in the middle of the street, and it's because they dying of thirst. Are you not gonna go in there and get $1? Go buy a water if you don't have one already.
Mm-hmm.
Buy a water out the store so you could give that person to revive them. And that's why I like the fact that Joy brought out that precept earlier. That ties into this because the precept she brought out was saying that Sabbath was made for man, not man for Sabbath, right? If I'm saying it correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because we don't want to be too much over righteous, and the Sabbath is not saying that you can't do good when good is needed. And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly why it says if you have what is it? A sheep.
Sure.
I thought there was another precept that says oh yeah, Luke 14 and 5. It
Yeah,
says
I was trying to think of it.
Luke 14 and 5 says, and he answered them, saying, which of you shall have an ass or an ox? Okay. We call them, well, you might have a donkey today or a cow that's fallen to a pit and will not pull him out on the Sabbath day. You're gonna leave your donkey in the ditch and your cow mooing in the ditch, tipped over because it's the Sabbath day?
You know,
You see
I
what I'm
want to say something. There's people, the other people that think they're who they are, they do that. I know, just depending on regional, I've heard of, when they do that, they don't clean at all. It's almost like they make a mess in the house, they just leave it there.
saying?
You know what I mean? They don't scrub, I don't even know if it's all the way down to not even taking a shower, but what I mean is like dishes will be left, like there's no tidying up. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? There's no like there I think they kind of like over or like do more than what's
Mm-hmm.
actually being
The
like
Orthodox.
it might be a little bit too literal, of like if I do anything it is like
Yeah.
against it, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like you got to clean yourself, you got to keep the area clean. I know it's one day, but we're not telling you to bust out all the bristles and the comet and the glove. We're just saying like just keep it tidy.
Yeah, I
But
think
I've
that's
heard
the
people
like
that go, they don't do any of that, Joe.
yeah, I think that if you're talking about for them ish people,
Yeah.
not even just them or even just
Yeah.
extreme. But so again, we're not gonna be doing any work that we're not supposed to do. And that's why a lot of people they use plastic plates on that day. So they don't have the dishes piling up. Or you wash the dishes the night before so you will have a clean sink that day.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever
Mm-hmm.
dishes you use, you gently you put them in a sink, maybe run some water on them to leave them in a sink, so they're not crusty by the time you wash them in the evening. So that I get, but there are some people that will shut up, and that's that precept coming to me where they will, like the Pharisees, shut up the kingdom for people because it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you can't. And that was a question that I had along with the what Shailameh was saying was, can you so yeah, I wouldn't be washing no dishes on no Sabbath. That's work. You should, you know what I'm saying? But so that goes into the next question. What should you not be doing on the Sabbath day?
Right.
And so let's start off with the first few that we have here. Anybody answer real quick? We'll bring out some precepts. What should you not do on the Sabbath?
It's in Leviticus. No work, not even your son, and no turning on no fire, no
Okay,
Yeah, I want to say it's 23. Is it Leviticus 23? Let me
we'll
see.
even
find
your
it.
maid service. I keep forgetting it. I believe it is 23.
It's
If I'm not
Exodus
mistaken.
2, but it's pretty similar to Leviticus. I
It's
found it. Leviticus chapter 16, verse 23. And he said to them, This is that which Yahweh has said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Shabbat unto Yahweh. Bake that which you will bake today, and seethe and seethe that you will seethe. And that which remains over, lay up for you to be kept until the morning. Verse 24. And they laid it up until the morning, as Mashah bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein.
But right there, we should not be cooking. I think that's what Joyce said. We should not be cooking. It says again in Exodus 16, this is what the Lord said. Tomorrow is the Sabbath day. Bake what you need to bake now and do all the stuff you need to do in the kitchen. Okay. And that which remain, and then once you have dinner, that which remaineth over, lay up for you to be kept until the morning, because that's what you're gonna eat tomorrow.
leftovers.
Leftovers.
'Cause I tell my
Yes,
kids
that's
Don't we
that
it.
all
love
the
it?
time.
Bobo,
Don't we love it? Okay.
bobo.
Exodus 20 and 10. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Most High, your power. You must not do any work. You, your son or your daughter, your male or female servant, your livestock, or the resident alien who is within your city gates.
So I think that's another thing Sister Joy had hit on. No one should be doing any type of work. It says not your son, not your daughter, not your maids. Okay, not even your cattle. Don't have your cattle out there automatically plowing your yards. Don't
Fine.
don't even send them out to do nothing. Okay. Don't send your daughter, nobody that was in that gates, because somebody had tried me before, like, oh, I'll go get this for you from the store, and it was a Sabbath day. And I'm like, I thought about it. I'm like, wait, well, hold up. That means I'm suffering sin on you because I need the thing, and I'm sending you to go to the store, but I'm not doing it. My hands ain't dirty.
Right.
Yes, they is.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people get over with that, especially a lot of people in this truth, because they'll get in the mind frame, well, it ain't me spending $1, it ain't me doing this, but you don't understand that you're suffering sin upon your brother or your sister if you asking them to go for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they should be keeping it too, and although they're not, because they're willing to go to the store, you know better. Okay, and you should have been prepared, like the Most High say. You had 5 days, the 6th day, double up, like Shayla may be
I've
doing.
even had somebody go like, "Hey, we're going out to dinner. Do you want me to bring you something back?" And it's like early, you know what I mean? Like it's
Look.
summertime, the sun don't go down to like 9 and they about to go to dinner at 6.
Look, and then you're like, okay, trying to be in your righteousness, and you're like, you know what? Go ahead and
Like,
bring me something
no.
back. I ain't gonna eat it till sundown.
No.
I
Like,
ain't gonna eat
no,
it till
sorry.
sundown Saturday when the Shabbat over. No, my mind couldn't bear that. Because the Most High know that He know. Okay, nothing should have been bought. Nothing in and out them gates coming in there, but you buying no cooked food that was made with a fire. Somebody had to be working the grill. Okay. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Somebody was working
Somebody
that
was working
grill.
all day and night. Yep. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 12. Keep the Shabbat day to sanctify it, as Yahweh your power has commanded you. 13. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. 14. But the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahweh your power. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your ox, nor your ass, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates, that your manservant and your maidservant may rest as well as you.
Rest as well. Now, I think we double read this now. I think we just read this. But yeah, that they need to rest too. They need to rest too. Okay, as long as they're up under your roof and your household and you have if they work for you, they rest in too. They get the day off.
You know what else that's proving? You know what else that's proving? That the idea of slavery,
Yes.
cruelty against each other,
Yes.
was never meant to be a thing
No.
against anybody. Now, if you
Right.
paying a penance and all that stuff, that's still
Right.
different. That's still a transactional situation.
Right.
But if I'm resting, why I got people working for me on the same day? That's why, like we were just talking about,
Right.
patronizing other establishments. They're working on a day that you're supposed to be resting, and you don't condone or agree with that, so you don't want to support that by being out there and letting them do it anyway. And it's hard
Exactly.
sometimes when we go on these trips sometimes, but you gotta just come prepared and don't ask for nothing. No, thank you. No room
Yeah.
service today.
Yeah, you gotta be prepared. I do it all the time. I stay in when we out of town and we stay in hotels and stuff, and we happen to be stay on the Sabbath day. We don't go out there for breakfast in the morning, and
Nope.
but we might go, but it might be for an apple or a banana. Okay,
Well,
we
that's
might
already
go
out there. Yeah.
right.
Right.
Something that was not cooked or any and already out there, kind. But
Yes.
this is why the Most I say to prepare. We don't take the time to prepare. It's just willy-nilly. We need to be intentional about keeping the Sabbath. Okay.
Yes.
Exodus 35, verse 3. Do not light a fire in any of your homes on the Sabbath day.
Okay. Now people will speculate and say, okay, this is, lighting a fire. So you'll have people that light their fire before the Sabbath starts, maybe Friday, right before sundown. So that way it's going all through the day, but you're not using it to cook because remember, you should have already cooked, right? Should have already cooked. So
That's right.
that fire, maybe Eva's going, let's say a scenario, a good one right here. Let's say you doing tabernacles or you out there tenting on a regular Saturday. If your fire already going out there to keep y'all warm,
Yep.
okay, it's going. Now, and he's given us the tools that we can, because if it go out on the Sabbath day, there's different things that you can, now you ain't gonna stay out there and freeze now. Okay. It's a Sabbath day. It's a Sabbath day your fire go out, or you gonna stay out there and freeze. Now everybody gotta, some people would say that's too over righteous, and some people will be like, that's using wisdom. I have to build a fire. And I say that because, again, when it goes back to when Christ and his disciples were out there on the Sabbath day, and they were picking the corn and the stuff off of the things because they were hungry. You think they walked by and saw that food and their stomach grumbling and they were like, you know what? We're going to just starve, y'all. You got to use wisdom.
So,
Now, but there's different ways for us to be prepared, like different ways for you to keep that going so you don't have to get to that point. But okay, so you brought up fasting, sis, that we're fasting on the Sabbath day, and that was a question I had somebody asked me, because if we go to who have the Apocrypha?
I do.
All right. I'm a Deborah, if you could bring out Judith.
Nice.
Chapter 8, 4-6. And then
chapter 8, 4-6.
Yep. And then Kayama goes straight to you with Jubilees, chapter 50, 11-13.
It's Judith chapter 8, verse 4 through 6. Verse 4. So Judith was a widow in her house 3 years and 4 months. Verse 5. And she made her a tent upon the top of her house and put on sackcloth upon her loins and wear her widow's apparel. Verse 6. And she fasted all the days of her widowhood, save the eves of the Sabbath and the Sabbaths and the eves of the new moon and the new moons and the feasts and solemn days of the house of Israel. So
Fine.
didn't fast on the Sabbath.
Exactly. That's what saved the ease. It says she
Mhm.
fasted all the days of her widowhood. That's
Mhm.
some willpower.
Wow.
Save the eve, meaning except for
Jubilees chapter 50, verse 11. This work alone shall be done on the Shabbat days in the sanctuary of Yahweh your power, that they may atone for Israel with sacrifice continually from day to day for a memorial well-pleasing before the Lord. These have them all capitalized, so I don't know.
okay.
They don't have, so I'm just gonna say how I see it. And that he may receive them always from day to day according as you have
Mhm.
been commanded.
Mhm.
Verse 12. And every man who does any work thereon, or goes a journey, or tills his farm, whether in his house or any other place, and whoever lights a fire, or rides on any beast, or travels by ship on the sea, and whoever strikes or kills anything, or slaughters a beast or a bird, or whoever catches an animal or a bird or a fish, or whoever fasts or makes war on the Shabbats. Verse 13, the man who does any of these things on the Shabbat shall die, so that the children of Israel shall observe the Shabbats according to the commandments regarding the Shabbats of the land, as it is written in the tablet which he gave into my hands, that I should write out for you the laws of the seasons and the seasons according to the division of their days. Because it's crazy.
Fine.
I just had this conversation with my husband about something else, and I know scripture mentions that we fast, but I don't recall there being anything specific unless there's some actual mourning happening and it happened to happen during the Shabbat. I don't know for certain if on a Shabbat it is one of those things that's a part of it, like fasting is a part of Shabbat versus it it may happen on a Shabbat for maybe a sad reason, I would say. Um, because I don't know of any real particular time where outside of you starting a fast, you didn't start it on a Shabbat. Now the fast may go through Shabbat, like if you
Mhm.
started it prior to, or like with Judith, she was a widow, so she decided to not separate herself in her mourning or appear to be unclean and possibly even try to eat something, but have a joyous appearance and congregate with other people and then go back to her mourning. You know what I mean? It was something a little bit outside of making a Nazarite law, because that's still a commitment, but it's a different commitment.
Mhm. Yeah.
Excuse me, where did she just read from Jubilees what?
Chapter 50, verses 11 through 13.
And that's how we get closer to the Most High. And but a lot of people just use fasting as just not eating anything all day, but they're not praying, they're not reading,
Right.
they're not doing anything else. They're still watching Folly on TV or whatever it is. You're going to fast, you're gonna fast all the way around in every
You
facet.
got it.
And yeah, because that's how I started off doing, oh, just not eat. But then I'm doing all this other stuff, and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not getting me close to the Most High. But like some people might just not eat meat that day, but they're not fasting entirely. Like they're still going to drink something, they're still going to, whatever it
Right.
is. Like we're gonna be doing the liquid fast, right?
Right.
So, but it's not entirely nothing's going down our bodies. I know fast has a different word. One is to som, my thing is that eat, but fast
Mhm.
also means something else. So that might be going
Right.
into that as well. But I just wanted
Right.
to bring out the precepts because again, please ask your husbands at home. I don't want to,
Yes.
lead anybody in that
Yes.
way or astray. Ask your husbands at home, ask your leadership. So there's two types of fast. One is eating, and the other one I think is just really like groveling, like torture, like putting the dirt on your head, like groveling.
Oh, like an
on
atonement. So you're
An
Yeah,
basically
atonement
talking about
fast.
like the
con.
other fast of like they use a different word. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So if you want to dive in and ask your husbands furthermore what exactly that means or that is, or what kind of fast you're doing on the Sabbath day, if at all, or whatever it
Yes.
is, maybe it needs to change. I don't know. That's not for me to delegate for your household.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 37. These are the feasts of Yahweh which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire to Yahweh, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon this day.
So in Jubilees 50 and 10, like you'll see our brothers are out there, they swinging they're burning that frankincense thing that they put in there, keeping the sanctuary holy, and keeping, and because that is in there. So that's one of those things again where that fire has been kindled, but for that specific reason. It's just not lighting a fire for no good or reason, or to do something you shouldn't do. So that was in Jubilees 50 and 10. It says, for great is the honor which the Most High has given to Israel, that they should eat and drink and be satisfied on this festival day. This is the Sabbath day it's talking about. So that was one of my precepts as to why we shouldn't actually refrain from eating on the Sabbath day. But again, that we should eat and drink and be satisfied on this festival day and rest from our labor. Belongs to the labor of the children of men, save burning, save means except burning frankincense and bringing in, like you said, Sister Kaya, the oblations and the sacrifice before the Most High on the Sabbath day, because that was what the priesthood was charged to do for the Sabbath day.
Yeah,
You know what
because
I'm
that's
saying?
not, because that type of burning is not meant to feed you or to
Right.
give you something
Right.
hot. And it's crazy because as I was listening to it again and reading again, it's like, well, if you ain't allowed to pick up sticks, you ain't allowed to kill your food either. Because some people be like, the hunting, like the idea of hunting is the same thing as gathering sticks, because the only way you would be gathering sticks is because you needed it for the fire.
Exactly.
You cannot grab or do things
No.
that is an item for the preparation of the task, which is
You're
to
not
cook
resting if
or
you're
which
out there
is to
doing any of that.
build. Right.
You ain't
Some
resting
people
if you're
don't
doing
think
any of
about
that.
the practicality of that. It's like, yeah,
Well, hey, we
we
need
know
to
you're
think
not
of
cooking, but you about to go, you still about to grab you still about to put the stuff on the stove for tonight. Like, you can wait for that.
exactly. You're preparing it. That should have been done on the 6th day. He said, if you got to do more this day, do it, or do it, spread it out throughout the week. But there's really no excuse for us not to follow this Sabbath day, because we got 6 other days to do all of this other stuff. Scale your fish, whatever it is you got to do. But that's exactly what I was talking about in Jubilees 50 and 12, when it says that you should not be tilling your farm, and you should not be riding on a beast, traveling overseas, striking anything, slaughtering a bird or a beast. You can't
Riding
even
on a
do
beast
that.
is crazy because that's driving right now. Don't be out there
Oh,
looking for charity. You either have a plan or you don't. Stay your butt
you
in the
know,
house. Stay.
right,
Don't be outside just driving like, what can we just give? Like, you burning gas now. You know.
right, right. Exactly. Get your P's and Q's in order before the Sabbath day.
Yeah.
Because he said what he said. And so the last question was, before we close it out, will the Sabbath be kept in heaven or the kingdom?
Okay.
I don't think any of the laws will be taken away or changed because of what the Most High said, that it was going to be written on our inward parts, and we're going to do it in that time. In that I can't remember the scripture, but I know that's what he said. So all the laws will be kept in heaven, all of them, and everybody will do them with gladness and joy in their heart. It
I
won't be
love it.
like now, where
I
people
love
are
it.
grieved.
I love it. And we could prove that exactly what you said verbatim, just
Matthew
17 to
chapter
19.
5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Verse 18. For verily I say to you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
22, that's it.
Let us know where
Okay,
you at.
that's, Isaiah 66, verse 22. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Most High, so shall your seed and your name remain. 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Most High. And they
Okay.
shall, 24,
Okay.
and they
Mhm.
shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of men that have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh.
Gone. A new heavens and a new earth he will bring, right? Okay. And it says one new moon to another, from a Sabbath to another Sabbath. Okay. So yes, there will be a Sabbath in the kingdom in heaven. All praises to the
Yep.
Most High. And so Deuteronomy 5 and 12 is to keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it as the Most High God had commanded thee. Okay. So we figured out what it is. We know what it is. We know when it is. We know how to keep it, what we shouldn't do, what we should be doing. These are important because a lot of the times we forget, or maybe we're lacking in one thing that, oh, I didn't know that, but it's for remembrance. So all praises to the Most High. And we will have a Sabbath being kept in the kingdom. Oh, you can imagine? You can imagine all the harps and the cymbals and the brass and the trumpets and the,
Yeah, I be walking in my nice little dress
You're,
with my first song and smiling from ear to ear like I do every Sabbath.
man, it is a glorious, glorious, glorious. Okay, so let's rest, relax, reflect, remember, okay, on this day. It's the only one we got throughout the week, yeah. Well, praises to the Most High. That was all we had for tonight. And with that being said, sisters, we hope to see you again next time. Same place, same beauty.
Beauty,
Case made is our
our duty.
Goody.
Yeah.